I know there's a lot to do and there's a lot of rushing around, but what if you just didn't? What if you just stopped? In 15 years of business, I have had some of the best, in 15 years, I've had some of the best conversations in the last 3 days. And it all starts with breathing. Welcome. My name is Amber Griffiths, and I am a brand strategist and a maker of legends, like for reals. And it is that time again. It is time to grab your legend pack, crank that speaker to 11. Welcome to Legend. I know there's so much to do and there's so many things to remember. And even after you get all the things listed, things to do, and you get them all done and you create all the stuff and you create all the content and do all the things, and then it's the next day and you have to do it all over again. And I think what happens, perhaps, is we forget to breathe. We forget that our people are people and they respond to us as a human. I know it sounds so easy and so simple and so well, of course, Amber. And yet I see these interactions going on Facebook. I see them on LinkedIn. I see them on the social platforms. I watch the content come out and I think, oh, you forgot to put you in it. It's some of that basic stuff, right? I was watching Top Chef, again, one of my favorite shows to binge. And after one of the big challenges, one of the guys came back to the stew room after being completely torn apart by the judges. And his comment was, oh, I forgot to put flavor in it. That's exactly what the content is missing. It's missing your flavor. It's missing your sparkle, your snark, your attitude, your sassy. It's missing everything that is you. And if that is super formal, if that is super distant, if that is super close, give me a hug, let's have coffee, whatever that is, it's not showing up. So I have to think about why that is. Maybe it's because we forget. Maybe it's because we don't know how. But one of the things that I have noticed just in the last few days, it has been, I guess maybe, let's go ahead and call it the last week. It is when you take time to have an actual conversation with someone, and there's breathing involved, and there's engagement involved, and interaction involved, the whole rest of the world makes more sense. I had a conversation with a man I met on social media because that's what you do, right? Like I mean, COVID or not, we get to meet our global clients and our global partners through social media. It's way easier and less time consuming than packing up and globetrotting. So in this moment, we met on social media, we met in a group, and there wasn't an instant connection. It wasn't one of those where we're like, oh my goodness, you're my person. I'm so excited. It was, hey, I have a podcast. Would you like to be a guest on my podcast? I, as someone who loves to be on podcasts, said, of course, let's talk about that. Thinking it would be another one of those like really great opportunities, really great experiences. I love the podcast. I love the conversation. And I got into the call with him last week and it was not what I expected. Like not even a little bit. It was so much cooler than that. And I don't know if it was him, if it was me, if it was a combination, but we both exhaled. It was 8 o'clock in the morning for me. He's in London, so it was, at the end of his day. And that's where the connection happened. Because I think, pretty certain, as he and I had this conversation, it was probably 20 minutes. It wasn't even like this big drawn out. It was 20-minute, hey, is this a good fit? Is there a real connection? Do I like your vibe? Do I like your energy? And what we allowed to happen was our actual truest selves came out. It wasn't an audition. It wasn't either one of us putting on this facade of everything's fine and everything's great and the lighting's always perfect and I will never, ever, ever say oops, or bugger. Like that's not what it was. It was such a no pressure, relaxed conversation of, so tell me about yourself. And not please give me your resume, but what excites you? And the questions he asked and the responses and the back and forth, we chatted like it was an actual two human beings having a conversation. And I know you may think, Amber, I do this all the time, but do you? I mean, do you really take time to Let your truest, most pure self come through in a Zoom call, an interview, in a sales call, wherever it is you're coming through, is all of you coming out. Are you shutting down some pieces because they don't seem quite so polished and you're afraid of what somebody will think? Is it, this is the professional side? Please don't talk to me about my personal life. I mean, this morning I talked about the weather. Now, not in like a normal weather, like, hey, how's it, is it hot? Is it cold? How's it going? But in a way that it related to our story, in a way that it affected our lives, the way our experience in growing up with the weather it was affected the way we interacted. It was crazy cool. And it wasn't the first, it wasn't the only one. Then I get into this small group, kind of mastermindy, except it was more casual than I was expecting mastermind. There were probably 8 or 9 of us on the call. And one of the cool things, shout out to Pam Pryor. She said, this is campfire. I'm like, oh, okay, it's campfire. Let's get around and chat. There was an actual campfire with the sound in the Zoom. Like I pull in and that's what I'm met with. That's her persona coming through. Her saying, I know you've got a lot of Zoom calls. This isn't that kind of Zoom call. And it immediately changed the way I was approaching it. Hey, Caitlin, thanks for coming in. One to one with someone. Absolutely. You have to have a one to one with people because I think it's in part because it allows you to actually say, okay, this is what I do, and let's make sure it's a good connection. I think that when it's one to one, we relax and we let our best selves come out. We have this really casual, honest conversation with someone. And so it's easier to decide, yep, you're my person, or yeah, you know what, you're not really for me. Why don't we do that in our content? How are we not making sure that that honest, absolute, no BS persona comes through in all of our content the way it does in a one to one? Why is that so difficult? What is what is it about writing a sales letter, writing an email series, writing a post, writing a blog that makes everything in every single muscle in your body clench and seize up, and it cuts off circulation to your persona, and it's just bland, and it's generic, and it could be anything from anyone. What the heck? What's up with that? I Yeah, here's the thing about this other keep going about this mastermind. It That campfire set the tone for the entire rest of the meeting. It was casual, it was intimate. We talked about business, but it didn't feel like anybody was putting on airs. It didn't feel like anybody was overcompensating because, you've met those people who they're so afraid you're going to see that they don't have it all together that they overcompensate for that. And they get really loud and really confident ish. None of that. It was this heartwarming, like, I feel so connected to those people. We spent 45 minutes. And even though it was a group, it wasn't one to one, but the tone that was set by the host was so honest and so just come as you are that everyone felt like they could. And so everyone did. Now, keep going on that. I've had 2 phone calls with 2 women in the last 3 days, specifically. Like I've had several, but these two stood out so much, in part because the rawness of it, the unstaged connectivity of it was so incredible. One of them was with a woman I have met years ago. And she's one of those people that even if I talk to her twice a year, we pick up where we left off. We're able to connect and we honestly want the best for the other person's business. We have that kind of relationship where wherever it is we're going, we're taking each other because we know it's going to be more amazing if she's with me. She knows it's going to be more amazing if I'm with her. Like it's that kind of a connection. Are you building those kinds of connections in your business? Because I will tell you right now, when you look at the lifetime value of a client, okay, we're talking cash flow and revenue. I know super, super woo and awesome warmness and warm fuzzies with relationships, but think about how it affects your money. Because if it's going to be worth investing time and energy, it's got to make some impact. It's got to increase your reach and your revenue, right? So the lifetime value of a client extends so far beyond when you're actually doing work with them, extends so far beyond when they're actually paying you in the moment for a service or a product. The people you actually connect with and build relationship with will support you and love you and refer you and connect you to the right people forever. I met this woman years ago at an event. That one was an instant connection. It was like, I don't know what's going on here, but we're together. We're together. And after we had dinner together, it was like, yep, this is a fabulous relationship. We get to, like there's so much um, complementary aspects and so much say like not sameness, but complementary aspects of our personalities. It's awesome. This is where your money and the really starts, really can create something amazing, because you can have a great course and you can have a great webinar, you can have a great whatever you want to put out there. And if your persona isn't in a way that connects with people so that years later they're calling you going, what do you have? How can I support you? What can I send? Who can I send people your way? I know your stuff is amazing. I've seen it. I've felt it. What else have you got? You're missing an opportunity. If your persona is not showing up that strong, you're missing an opportunity. It's not because you're not a great person, it's because we don't know it. It's not because you are not fun and fabulous and your energy isn't right there. It's because we can't experience it. You are not letting your people in at the level that you let them in one at a time. And I know one on one is so fun. I love my one on one clients, but you can't leverage your time one person at a time. You can't leverage your business and scale your business one person at a time. So you've got to figure out a way to make sure that the people who experience you one to one have the same experience and understanding of you that they do if it's 1 to 10,000. And that comes in persona. That comes with saying, I don't care if I'm speaking to one person or if I'm speaking to a group of 10,000 one persons. The experience is the same. You will experience me the same. You will understand the same connectivity of me the same way. And that's persona. My friend, that is persona. If you've got people who can't recognize you because you've changed so much, your brand hasn't caught up, your persona's not catching up, it's not coming out. You've hidden it somewhere. It's stuck behind really beautifully poetic nonsense in a sales page. It's it's a beautiful, amazing 30-second introduction, and nobody knows anything about you when you get done. It's the little things that we miss that can make all the difference in the world. It's the little ways we hide. It's the little ways we mute our persona. We turn it down to a 3 or a 2 even, our persona. That's why we blend in. It's not it's not stage fright. Thank you, Caitlin. I'm so glad. Get your butt on stage, girl. We don't blend in because there's nothing special about us. That's not why. We allow it. We hide our awesome. We hide our special. We try to do it just like everybody else in the industry because that way we think we're doing it right. If everybody around us is doing it this way, then clearly we're doing it the right way, right? What a crock. What absolute nonsense. Do it your way. That's what people connect to. That's where people go, oh my gosh, listen to her talk. She's my people. I get her. I get her heart. I get her soul. I get her passion. I get her vision. I'm in. That is shared through persona. On the same wavelength, if somebody listens to you and go, oh my gosh, she is off her rocker. She is everything I am not. I have no interest in that whatsoever. Thank you so much. That's a win for everybody involved. That's a lot of time wasted that doesn't have to happen anymore. Your persona should be that loud, that intentionally, with purpose, loud. Where are you hiding in a way that your one to ones are really amazing, but nothing else is? I can't tell you the levels at which I have been able to connect with people because I can see who they really are. Because there's no BS, there's no facade, there's no sales speech, it's just two people talking. I mean, think of your best relationship in a personal way, not business. Think of your best personal relationships. Are the ones where you're really close the ones where you know nothing about them? No. The ones where you're like, this woman could hold my baby. This one gets to come to my wedding, to my funeral, and every dirty secret I have, she gets to know. They're the ones where you know a lot about them. not the ones where you share business cards, not the ones where you go and have a cup of coffee and talk about the weather in a really distant, removed way. That's when your persona shows up, when you take a moment to breathe, relax, unclench, and let the most pure sense of you come through in everything you create. Why aren't we doing more of that? This is my challenge to you today. Think of your most recent, most amazing, fabulous, rewarding, connecting one to one. Whether that's a phone call, a Zoom call, something from 10 years ago, doesn't matter. Think of the one that you're like, wow, yeah, I got done with that and was like, dang, I love what I do. Dang, I love the people in my world. Holy crap, this is gonna be amazing. Think of that conversation. What did your tone sound like? What words did you use? How do you share that to the masses? One at a time to the masses. Do that. Make sure your persona is cranked. I have two opportunities I want to share with you so that you can do exactly that. One, I was going to say August. That's not true. April 22nd, next Thursday, a week from today. I am Carol Dockham with Beautiful Faces Going Places. Sweet woman, thank you so much, Carol, is hosting an Ask the Author Anything. Basically, you got the book. If you didn't get the book, there's still time. Go get it. There we go. Brand like you're meant for more. My directions. There we go. Brand like you are meant for more. It's a daily guide to branding on your road to legend. Go get the book, Kindle, paperback, either way. Go get it. You're welcome. It's amazing. It will help you think about your brand differently. Then join me next Thursday at 10 o'clock Mountain. Come on, we're going to talk about your ahas, your weehas, your oh craps, your amber, what were you thinking? We're going to go through all of it, answer your questions. So start there. That's a really great start. Get to grab the book. May 12th, I will be holding a persona workshop. I did this in October. This is completely new because let's face it, there's so many layers to persona and a lot has changed in 6 months. So I invite you to join me May 12th for the Optimize, Claim, Own It Without Apology persona workshop, May 12th it'll be 10 o'clock Mountain. There'll be links, there'll be all kinds of stuff about it. But just start saving the date now. Mark it on your calendars because really, truly, this is the year your persona must be elevated. Your persona must connect with your people. This is the opportunity. This is the time. This is your moment. Let's just go do it together. Okay? Sound like fun? I'm excited about it. I cannot wait to hear what you create with the book. I cannot wait to see you next Thursday at the Ask Me Anything. There are going to be links all over. I will make sure there's a link here. RSVP, it is free, but you need to RSVP so you can grab your ticket. So until I see you next Thursday, rock on.